story in our special ABC 15 series, where we turn the Department of Justice's report into video. I'm ABC 15 Chief Investigator Dave Biskoping, and when it comes to how police handle protests, the DOJ wrote Phoenix did not fully cooperate with the investigation. Dozens of officers refused to be interviewed, and the city refused to turn over key records. As always, you can follow along by scanning the QR code on your screen to pull up an official copy of the DOJ's report. In this story, we're back digging deeper into the section on Phoenix PD violating people's First Amendment rights, specifically the part where the DOJ says Phoenix still can't be trusted.
So, good afternoon.
This was Phoenix's chief on the day the department...
This is the chief, the former chief. She is Jerry Williams. Let's see. She worked for the department in various roles from 1989 to 2011, including assistant chief from 2009 to 2011. Besides her Phoenix pension, she appears to be eligible to collect at least $33,000 annually in pensions from the Oxnard Police Department in California, where she has been police chief since 2011. While the salary for Williams' new role, Phoenix Police Chief, is yet to be determined, city spokesman said the salary range for the position is between $126,984 and $215,862. That means Williams could make in excess of $300,000 between salary and pension. That's, of course, before she retired. She would note that double dipping or potentially triple dipping through salary and pension in this case is not uncommon for police chiefs and other high-ranking government officials. Wonder if anybody that's not government can double and triple dip. Pretty sure they can't. ABC 15 reached out to Williams for comment, but noted that the city's goal is to hire the most qualified candidates. In some cases, that means hiring people who have already done the job and have a higher level of experience in a specific field and may already be collecting pensions, she said. So, she's got the job here, making a couple $100,000, and she's collecting pensions from other places, and she's retired now, so the taxpayers of Arizona can just keep paying her.
Department of Justice announced its investigation.
We welcome an outside assessment before, and we'll welcome this one with open arms.
And this was the city manager.
And will fully cooperate with any requests they make of the city or the Phoenix Police.
And he lied. They won't cooperate with anything. But don't feel bad for him. He retired too. When he was working there, he was making $315,000 annually, plus $435 a month car allowance and $100 a month cell phone allowance. He left, went coaching for a year, and came back to a new position. He's not the city manager anymore, but he will now make $325,000 annually. He'll still get, I think it's $530 per month of car allowance, and his cell phone allowance went up anyway. But he'll now be making $325,000 annually for the next 2 years as executive director of the Maricopa Association of Governments. So retired from Phoenix in late 2021 after nearly 3 decades at the city. So he's drawing that retirement too, but he's also working. So between his retirement and his salary, he's probably making $500,000 a year. Thank you, Arizona taxpayers. Feel free to pick up a few more shifts.
That was 3 years ago.
But our commitment is that we're going to work very closely with them and provide them any and all things that they need.
Both the chief and the city
And she is a big fat liar, and she's a DEI hire.
manager have since retired. And here's what the DOJ report now says about their promises. Quote, the city's cooperation was less than fulsome. The city allowed employees to decline our interview requests. And more than 40 officers and supervisors involved in Phoenix PD's protest response declined to speak to us.
They declined too. That means they're as shit as the damn government. If they give a shit about anybody other than themselves, they'd be begging Dave to come talk to them. They don't. They just want to draw that taxpayer money.
We believe these employees had relevant information about Phoenix PD's protest response, and that interviewing them would have enabled us to complete our investigation more efficiently. The DOJ not only wrote the city slowed their investigation, Phoenix kept certain records with negative information secret. The city
kept information secret. You're supposed to be able to FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, any public government information you want to, but the first thing they'll do is say, that's not really public information, or they'll put it behind a paywall. There's your transparency.
Also refused to produce external reports containing recommendations about Phoenix PD's protest practices in 2020, or to allow us to interview the consultants who conducted those reviews.
What is Phoenix trying to hide? Phoenix has been fighting.
Phoenix is trying to hide every damn thing. Phoenix is as crooked as the Biden administration.
To keep multiple taxpayer-funded investigations from being released.
A year ago, we reported how Phoenix was hiding those same reports from the public, even though the public paid for them. Those outside investigations were paid with hundreds of thousands of our taxpayer dollars, and here they are, a review by the consulting firm 21CP into officers' tactics and techniques during protests, and an analysis by an ASU criminal justice professor into the city's response to the protests. Here's another serious statement in the DOJ's report. People in Phoenix are still at risk of having their First Amendment protest rights violated by Phoenix PD. For context, here's just some of what we discovered after the DOJ launched its investigation on August 5th, 2021.
The city needs to stop lying to the public. That's a quote from a letter just sent to top officials here in Phoenix in the wake of a major ABC 15 investigation this week.
We exposed Chief Jerry Williams and other top cops used a secret messaging app called Signal on the job. The department claimed the chief stopped using it years ago, but in that new letter, an attorney for 3 high-ranking officers say that's not true, and he included screenshots.
They should not be using Signal to begin with, because the idea of Signal is you send and receive crap and then it disappears. Nothing ever disappears from the cloud. DOJ can find it if they want to. The point is, they think it disappears, which there's no public record of it. You can't get a public record of it. Everything they say, everything they do, body cameras, in-car cameras, in departmental cameras is supposed to record everything so that the people that pay for all that shit can see what they're doing. They don't.
Say this raises serious concerns about the deletion of public records and key evidence in multiple lawsuits and cases.
And nobody is surprised about that. Miss DEI, they say she's black, I don't know what she is, female, got to be the highest ranking. Look at that dumbass mask, and I don't think he's with him anymore either because he's crooked as she is.
Chief Williams unexpectedly announced her retirement after that story. Not only did the chief and her top cops use the private messaging app, they used it to secretly discuss one of the biggest scandals in their department's history. The scandal was how Phoenix police worked with this Maricopa County Attorney's Office prosecutor to invent a fake gang and falsely charge protesters as members. The case is a key reason why the DOJ went into Phoenix. But look at what we uncovered.
My last video I did on this, you should go look at it. It's just the amount of crap they will lie about and lie about and lie about and then hide is ridiculous.
Even after the scandal was exposed and after the DOJ started investigating.
Training officers after colluding with them to lie. This former prosecutor worked with Phoenix officers to falsely charge protesters as gang members.
You have a right to redress your government for your grievances. They do not have a right to then, now let's say peacefully, you can't be shooting at them and throwing shit and all, but you can peacefully protest your government. The Constitution allows it. They can't then come in and be bullies and scream and yell, officer safety, now I gotta lock you up and send you to jail. It don't work like that. It's not supposed to work like that.
ABC 15 investigators exposed the scandal, leading to dozens of cases being dropped and cops were placed under criminal investigation. That prosecutor was fired, and the Department of Justice launched a top-to-bottom probe of Phoenix PD. So why did Phoenix just send a bunch of officers to get special training from that same fired prosecutor?
It's the latest from our chief investigator, Dave Biscobin.
Her name is April Sponsel, the former Maricopa County prosecutor fired last year. And earlier this year, we learned she was set to lead a courtroom testimony training class for $200 a seat. Now that training just happened, and we confirmed Phoenix had 14 officers registered to attend.
If I were to say I'd be surprised, I guess that would be a lie, because at this point nothing really surprises me from Phoenix PD anymore.
So, when Phoenix issued a Road to Reform report to convince the DOJ that the city didn't need federal oversight, the DOJ didn't agree. Quote, the city claims that it now safeguards the rights of protesters through recent reforms, but as of early 2024, any
They're full of shit. They don't do none of that. They'll say it and say it and say it, but they're liar, pants on fire.
changes were only in their initial stages. These belated and incomplete efforts do not establish that Phoenix PD officers will respond appropriately and be held accountable if they do not. As we've told you before, Phoenix has told us they will not comment for this series. Again, you can look up all of this for yourself. The DOJ report, real videos of incidents, and our past stories. All of it is at abc15.com/DOJ. I'm investigator Dave Biscobin, ABC 15, Arizona.